Now to a Target 12 Investigators exclusive, substitute shortage.
We've been reporting for months on the efforts to decrease chronic teacher absenteeism among teachers in Rhode Island.
And now we've learned some school districts can't even fill half their absences with substitute teachers. Target
12 investigator Steph Machado has been digging into what's causing this problem and joins us now with how schools are grappling with the shortage. Steph?
We found the shortage of substitute teachers in Rhode Island is widespread. It's causing issues for teachers and students and costing taxpayers more money.
It's absolutely disruptive.
Susan Rohr says she was surprised when her daughter Lourdes came home from kindergarten at Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary in Providence last year to report she spent the day out of her normal classroom.
There were instances where she would come home and she would say, I was so bored today, I had to fill out sheets. I was with the 5th graders.
Providence is one of at least a dozen school districts in Rhode Island that we found use splits. When a substitute can't be found to fill a teacher's absence, students are split up among other classrooms in the building, sometimes with different grade levels. How often did this happen?
I don't know, because we would never get any kind of report from the school about it.
A spokesperson for the Providence Public School District was unable to tell us how often this happens, saying splits are not tracked. But it came up in a scathing report by Johns Hopkins University last year examining Providence public schools. The report was the impetus for the state takeover in November, led by Education Commissioner Angelica Infante Green.
I would be appalled if my kindergartner came home and said that they sat in a 5th grade classroom. What is that? It's inappropriate in terms of instruction. That's a wasted day.
The splits are just one way schools deal with a shortage of subs.
Right now, there's a low unemployment rate, and frankly, schools don't pay subs very well.
Smithfield Superintendent Judy Paolucci believes low pay is part of the reason for the shortage.
First thing I do in the morning is have my cup of coffee and read the daily report.
She asked her local school board to raise the daily wage for subs from $75 a day 2 years ago to $85 today. Still, only $12.59 an hour. That's less than the minimum wage in Massachusetts.
Yes.
In Rhode Island, the base daily substitute pay ranges from a low of $75 in East Greenwich to $100 a day in multiple cities, including Providence. Some school districts can barely fill half their absences with subs. Woonsocket fills on average only 45%. Providence fills about 50%. Only Little Compton and Narragansett reported filling more than 90% of their absences with subs. Many districts use a rotating cast of full-time teachers to cover unfilled absences by forcing them to miss their daily planning or free period, but it comes at a cost to taxpayers. In Smithfield, for example, teachers are paid an extra $30 an hour above their regular salary to cover someone else's class, more than double what a substitute would have earned. Other districts are even higher. Teachers in Cranston get $70 per class period to cover a class.
So it's actually less expensive to have a regular substitute for the day than it is to have different teachers covering for that period.
Some districts say they've had success outsourcing the tough job of recruiting subs to an outside vendor, though of course that also costs the district extra money. With the Target 12 investigators, I'm Steph Machado, Eyewitness News.
New details now on a Target 12 investigators exclusive substitute shortage.
Live at 5, we told you how school districts in Rhode Island are struggling to find substitute teachers to fill their day-to-day absences and how it's costing taxpayers.
And new at 6, we've learned about several proposed solutions to try and fix the problem.
Target 12 investigator Steph Machado is here now with what she's learned.
Silver bullet to solve the substitute shortage, but state and local leaders are trying, including by making it a little easier to qualify for the job.
We didn't know that students were being split up and put into other classrooms.
When Susan Rohr's daughter Lourdes was in kindergarten last year, she experienced the practice called splits. Students sent to different classrooms when there's no sub to cover their class.
She would come home and she would say, I was so bored today, I had to fill out sheets. I was with the 5th graders.
Well, they shouldn't have a kindergartner sitting in a 5th grade class. That's inappropriate is what it is. That That's a big problem.
State Education Commissioner Angelica Infante Green ties the sub shortage to teacher absenteeism and job vacancies. Empty positions are filled by long-term subs.
We have a systemic problem that we need to fix. So it's not, I want to get away from the idea that we need more subs. It's the fact that we need so many subs. We need to get to the root cause of what's happening here.
We found that some districts are only filling about half of teacher absences with subs. The average fill rate in Woonsocket, just 45%, in Providence, 50%, while the Little Compton and Narragansett school districts managed to fill more than 90% of their teacher absences. Do you think that splits are a practice that should continue?
No. The problem is that we don't have a choice. If there isn't an adult, there isn't a substitute teacher, then there is no choice.
She says the Rhode Island Department of Education is currently developing a teacher recruitment campaign and is working on a public-facing tool to track teacher absenteeism. And there have been steps taken to get more subs, the state recently removing the bachelor's degree requirement for the job.
There's any number of kids that are not in front of their classroom teacher, that have interrupted education, that there is a lack of continuity. It's tragic. We need to figure this out.
In the meantime, if they don't use the splits method, most districts use other regular teachers to cover for classes during their planning periods when there's no sub, but it costs taxpayers. In Smithfield, for example, teachers get $30 an hour to do this extra work, more than double what a sub would have made.
It's actually less expensive to have a regular substitute for the day than it is to have different teachers covering for that period.
Other options that have been proposed include organizing cohorts of college students to serve as subs and raising the daily pay for substitutes. With the Target 12 investigators, I'm Steph Machado, Eyewitness News.